Gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in bed with a woman and wondered, did she actually finish or is she just being polite? Maybe you wanted to ask, but you knew the question would kill the mood. Or maybe you did ask and she said yes, but something felt off. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Studies show that more than 68% of women have faked an orgasm at least once. That means 2 out of 3 men are being fooled without even realizing it. I'm Dr. Emma Blake, your trusted men's health advisor, and today we're covering the 5 most reliable physiological signs that a woman is actually climaxing. Not what she's saying, not what you think is happening, what her body is actually doing. Because if you can't read these signs, you're guessing. And guessing makes you insecure, which kills your confidence, which makes the sex worse for both of you. So stay with me, because this information could transform your sexual confidence. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future content on sexual performance and satisfaction. All right, let's start with why this matters so much. Women don't fake orgasms to be cruel or manipulative. They do it to protect your feelings, to avoid an awkward conversation in a vulnerable moment, or because they don't feel comfortable being honest. And look, I get it. As a man, your ego is tied to your performance. You want to know you satisfied her. But here's the problem. If you can't tell when she's actually climaxing, you have no idea what's working and what isn't. You're flying blind. So instead of asking, "Did you come?" which almost always kills the mood and puts pressure on her to perform emotionally, even if she didn't finish physically, you need to learn to read her body. Because her body doesn't lie. It can't fake the involuntary physiological responses that happen during actual orgasm. Let me break down the 5 signs you need to watch for. The first sign is muscle contractions and body tension. As a woman approaches orgasm, her entire body begins to tense up. This isn't a conscious decision. It's an automatic reflex of her nervous system. Her pelvic floor muscles contract involuntarily. Her abs and thighs tighten. Her back may arch. Sometimes her toes literally curl. Think of it as her body bracing for impact. If you notice her getting progressively more tense and her breathing or sounds are growing more intense, that's your green light. And here's the critical part. Whatever you're doing when she starts tensing, keep doing it exactly the same way. Most men make the mistake of suddenly changing position or rhythm, thinking variety will make it better. In reality, variety kills momentum in that moment. Consistency is everything when she's building toward climax. The second sign is her breathing pattern and heart rate. Sexual arousal isn't just mental, it's deeply physical. As she gets closer to climax, her pulse quickens dramatically, and her breathing turns shallow and rapid. You might feel her chest rising faster against yours, or hear her breath coming out in shaky bursts. This is one of the clearest physiological signs her body is reaching peak arousal. Now here's something most guys don't know. When her breathing becomes rapid and shallow, that's actually triggering her sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. For orgasm to happen, she needs to shift into her parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode where her body can let go of control. You can help this transition by staying calm yourself, maintaining steady rhythm, and providing reassurance through your presence and touch. The third sign is loss of physical control. When orgasm hits, many women grab whatever's nearby, sheets, pillows, your shoulders, even your hair. Their legs may tremble uncontrollably. Their body may shake or shiver afterward. These reflexes aren't faked. They can't be faked. They're the body's response to a massive surge of neurochemicals, adrenaline, dopamine, and oxytocin, all releasing at once. When this happens, your job is simple. Don't change anything. Stay steady and let her body ride the wave. If she grips you, press your body gently back against her or place a firm hand on her hip. That grounding pressure gives her a sense of security and actually makes the orgasm more intense. Many women report that feeling physically anchored during climax makes the release significantly more powerful. The fourth sign is what doctors call the sex flush. As her body heats up, blood flow to her skin increases dramatically, and you may notice her chest, neck, or face turning pink or red. This is vasodilation, the same biological effect that makes you blush. Not every woman experiences this visibly, but when it happens, it's a reliable signal she's close to or experiencing climax. Some women's genitals even deepen in color right before orgasm due to increased blood engorgement. If you notice this, don't point it out clinically in the moment. Just stay focused on what you're doing. Silence during that peak moment actually amplifies sensation because it removes distraction and lets her body focus completely on the release. The fifth sign is her verbal cues. Women may not announce, "I'm about to climax," but they do drop direct feedback. Phrases like, "Don't stop," "Right there," or "Just like that" are not random. They're her body guiding you. And here's the critical mistake most men make. When they hear these cues, they think they need to do more or switch things up to make it more exciting. Wrong. When she says, "Don't stop," she literally means do not change a single thing you're doing. Not the pressure, not the angle, not the rhythm. Nothing. Lock in and maintain exactly what you're doing until she's finished. That verbal feedback is gold. Listen to it. Now, knowing these 5 signs is only half the battle. The real skill is creating the conditions where these signs show up consistently. And that comes down to understanding something most men completely miss. Female arousal works differently than yours. Most women have what's called responsive desire. That means they don't start out already turned on like you might. They become aroused once the right conditions are present. It's your job to create those conditions. That means adequate foreplay. And I'm not talking about 2 minutes of kissing. I'm talking about 15 to 20 minutes of building arousal through touch, kissing, communication, and anticipation. It means paying attention to her responses and adjusting based on what her body is telling you. It means consistency when she's building toward climax, steady rhythm, steady pressure, steady angle. And it means creating emotional safety where she feels comfortable letting go of control. Because orgasm for women requires surrendering to sensation, which only happens when they feel completely safe. Now, once you start reading these signs and understanding what her body is telling you, a lot of guys realize they want to deepen that communication even further. They want to know how to have conversations that reveal what she genuinely wants, what feels best, what creates the most pleasure. That's why I put together a free guide called 20 Best Sexual Questions to Ask a Woman. These aren't awkward clinical questions. These are conversation starters that build emotional intimacy, create sexual tension, and help you understand exactly what she desires without any guesswork. When you combine the ability to read her physiological responses with open communication about preferences and desires, you become the kind of lover she never wants to lose. You can download it for free in the description below. Here's what you need to remember. The 5 undeniable signs of female orgasm are progressive muscle tension and body tightening, rapid shallow breathing and increased heart rate, involuntary grabbing or trembling, visible flushing of the skin, and direct verbal feedback. When you learn to read these signals, you'll never have to ask if she finished. You'll know. Women don't fake orgasms because they want to. They fake them because they're not being read properly, because the stimulation isn't consistent enough, or because they don't feel safe enough to let go. Change those 3 things and you'll change her experience completely. Stop guessing. Start reading her body. Maintain consistency when she's building. Create emotional safety through your presence and attention. And communicate openly outside the bedroom about what feels good. That's how you go from being just another guy to being the lover she compares everyone else to. Download that free guide, 20 Best Sexual Questions to Ask a Woman, in the description below. Use those questions to open real conversations about pleasure and desire. And start approaching sex as a skill you can develop through attention, communication, and understanding, rather than a performance you're being judged on. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves.